Hey guys, how are you? It is almost the weekend. I cannot believe it. It is, we're winding down the week, and I'm actually got you on my phone this morning. It's like the only winter I get in California where there's condensation on my patio. What is that called? A railing. There's condensation on my patio railing, and there's condensation on my fire table. So funny. And my dog's barking at me. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit more of not that Coffee with Shanda is ever not casual, but I'm going to do a little bit more of a casual Coffee with Shanda and just chat a little bit about this conversation of when you're feeling a little bit tapped, when you're feeling a little bit like what do you do when you feel like you need a break and you're feeling tired? I'm kind of sort of feeling that right now where it's so funny. I went on like a 2-week vacation in Barbados and then a week of working on L Equity in Utah. And then I came back and it's just been full on. It's just been one event after another and just, 3-4 VIP days a week. Next week, I have exactly the same thing. I've got 3 VIP days next week and I've got 2 events this week that we're just finishing off today. And then did a TV show on Wednesday. So I'm feeling a little bit like I'm trying to tap into this because people always ask me about these feelings of overwhelmed. I haven't felt overwhelmed for I don't know how many years, but I do feel a little bit like, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to being able to be with my family and go to church and, read and just kind of do nothing. But there is a difference to this feeling than what I used to feel when I used to get the feelings of overwhelmed. And that was always connected with when I was striving for something. Like when you're striving for something and it's like not coming into your space, it takes a lot of bandwidth to have the energy to just, push yourself uphill when you're trying to create something. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is I think the thing that really has helped me get out of this feeling of overwhelmed or feeling like I have to battle perfectionism or even the energy of cuddles. My dog's like, please come pay attention to me. But the battle that I used to feel with work and almost like a double-edged sword of loving what I did, but also battled this whole thing with just resistance of work. And I think what has really helped me get on the other side of that is, first of all, taking off a flex week or not working on weekends, like really making a non-negotiable and putting my phone away. That really has helped my energy and my bandwidth. But also, here comes Zach. Here he comes. It's nice because those things don't bother me anymore. Hey, guys.
Hi, guys. We're going this way. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Mom.
Love you.
Love you.
So that definitely has helped. I mean, that was a game changer for me to actually have proper flex time. Can you pick him up, honey, and take him downstairs?
Yeah, I can pick him up. Let's go.
Thanks, sweetie. But the other thing is getting the striving out of things. Like, when I look at what I'm trying to accomplish, I don't know, I just don't have a striving feeling. And I just noticed that this morning. I was like, how do I unpack how I'm feeling? Like I'm not feeling tired, but I'm feeling like I'm looking forward to a break. But I remember that like doing one event back in my first couple of years of running a business, one event used to feel like so much stress. And I used to feel like I need a break. And it wasn't until I got over those feelings of pressure on growing my business that I started to open up the bandwidth to be able to hold more. So, I noticed myself when I hit a certain bandwidth that usually there's something that's taking my energy stress-wise. So what is stress? Stress is just typically a fear. It's a fear that something's not going to get handled, or a fear that somebody's not moving fast enough, or a fear that somebody's incapable or that you're incapable. Those different levels of fear, if you could manage the root of the fear and get okay with the worst case scenario, you will find that your bandwidth will grow and you'll actually be able to accomplish things much quicker and much more fluid without having to deal with all the stress that comes with it. So as we go into the weekend, I don't want to be a talking head here on Facebook. What I'd like to do is just say, encourage you to look at the root of whatever is causing you frustration and really look at how can you be empowered to deal with that root challenge that you're facing. So for instance, fear. And so if it's like, I'm fearful somebody's like incapable of doing something with me, then, or helping you with something, or doesn't hit deadlines, then you can literally like look at, okay, what's the worst case scenario? They don't hit the deadline and I let them go and I find somebody new. What's the worst case scenario? I push that goal out a little bit farther because I don't have help to get it. Or what's the worst case scenario? I put it all in and I don't hit my mark, but I move my business forward a little bit more. You know, what's the worst case scenario? I have no money. I spend my last, $2,000 and, I have to go on food stamps. Whatever that is, like, if you can get okay with that worst case scenario, 9 times out of 10, the thing you're most afraid of just doesn't happen because you have the ability to take it all the way to the finish line. What causes things to not work is the fact that we don't have the bandwidth to take something all the way to the finish line because we're so wrapped up in the fear. So I just encourage you to look at that. I still get it. You get it. Everybody still gets it. The question is how quickly do we assimilate the information so that we can get our bandwidth back to be able to create the results that we really want to create. So again, if I can stand here today and from a humble place and say, I'm just looking forward to the weekend. I don't need it. I don't feel like really tired, but I don't feel like I want to do another 12 events in front of me. Yet I have a vision to be doing 10 events a month. And so if you think about that, like, oh my gosh, she has a vision to do 10 events a month when one event used to drain me. So I just believe that you and I are both building our muscle to hold that next big vision that we have coming forward in our life. And I think that we should just, both of us, all of us, we should just not be afraid of developing that muscle and getting more powerful, better bandwidth, and be able to hold that next big graceful thing that's trying to come into your life. And the only way to do that is to deal with whatever it is that is frustrating you right now. Find the root cause of that and unleash yourself from that. Because I can tell you something now. If you're struggling with what you have in your plate right now, bigger doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier. You have to develop the skills in whatever, the new job, the new business, the new marriage, whatever it is, or the marriage that's been around for a long time and you're having to develop new skills like my husband and I, to really make sure the marriage is extraordinary. You're going to have to bridge that next gap, which means you're going to go through some level of newness. And I just find that most new levels of newness have some element of a rub, And so here's to not being perfect, but here's to being smart enough to not let things simmer in your space, not let marriages simmer out, not let, your passions for your business simmer out, not let your passion for your career, your job, wherever you're at, simmer out, and really take the piece that's causing you pain and unhooking from it. And the best way I know how to do that is to be okay with the worst case scenario. All right, you guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful weekend. We have Christmas stuff starting to be put up in our house. We have Christmas stuff in some of our closets, and we're ready to start putting more of it up. And I think that we might be going to get a Christmas tree tonight. Anybody else have a Christmas tree out there yet? Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.